Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Today is January 1st, 2024, officially the new year, and I just wanted to give a State of the Union address, or the equivalent of the State of the Union address for this YouTube channel. So, we're going to talk about the things that we've done in a relatively short period of time. And I started this channel in July 2023. I think posted my first video. And then in August, I started posting more, and then we got monetized in about 3 months. So I'm just going to go over one by one the accomplishments and my predictions and goals for this channel. So the first thing is that we were able to monetize in 3 months, and I was getting average of 200. I've been paid by YouTube twice. In both times, I've gotten paid over $200, but according to the last 28 days, if you look at the YouTube analytics, sometimes it says, "Oh, I'm getting making like $150 to $200 a month," and I think that's really cool because if I had known that I could make an extra $200 a month, which hopefully I wouldn't spend on video games or something stupid like that, I probably would have started a YouTube channel doing something like this in 2019 or 2020. And maybe I wouldn't have done it because back then I was still trying to build my skills outside of YouTube. And I actually had some failed YouTube channels before. And I think every failure that you have is like another step into success. So if it seems like I know what I'm talking about, or that I've done some sort of media work before, is because I used to do other YouTube channels. And the cool thing is that I have the same 5 people listen over and over again, right? I thought the channel was a failure, and I realized the fact that I had an audience of like 5 people who'd always comment, the same 5 people who'd always comment would actually help me in other things in life because it helps me, if you're bad at YouTube, right, in the beginning, then you eventually go and do presentations for businesses or whatever. Um, that actually helps you a lot because most people, to be honest, can't explain their thoughts clearly. And if you can do it well on YouTube, people will actually be impressed in real life that you can do that, right? And so the first accomplishment that I'm really pleased with is just the fact that we're monetized in 3 months, right? The second thing that I'm pleased with is that I thought that I would actually get my first student to enroll in 2024 because my thought was that, yeah, Korean Atlanta Mentorship, it's a very obscure and niche name, and it's going to be a lot more effort. So because it was actually going to be a lot more effort, that's why I was going to put so much more effort into making more videos than originally, right? Like I was actually going to post like 1,000 videos by the end of the year, or like grind at it. And then once people actually started listening to the videos, success almost kind of makes you lazy. I don't know if you ever heard that before. Like, it's like when you're a kid and you get like an A on a test, you kind of think, well, oh my goodness, like I don't need to stay for the next one because I'm so smart, right? Or I don't know if you ever heard, like, if you tell people your goals and everybody congratulates you, it actually feels like you've done it, so you just don't like do it. And that's what I mean. Like success almost makes you lazy, so you have to kind of be disciplined to almost ignore your success and fall in love with the activity. So here we have 2 students enrolled real life and 2 online. And sometimes I'm really wrong about the my predictions because I was like, I'm gonna get 1,000 subs in 1 year, because in my other YouTube channels that I failed in, it took me like 2 3 years to get like 1,000 or 2,000 subs. And how did I get like 1,000 subs in, like, I guess within 6 months, and working hard within 3 to 4 months? Just because what was different from those previous YouTube channels is that they were based on my interests, whereas this channel is actually trying to serve the marketplace. That's a huge difference in mentality. Like me, think about it. I learned about velocity banking in 2017. So it's not the biggest interest of mine to actually share that content because, once you've known something for quite some time, it's like old news for you, but for the marketplace, it's a hot new topic, right? Even though I've seen like very popular YouTube videos in 2017, but it's still something hot in the marketplace, right? And that's why we have about $13,000 watch hours total in this channel. And then I did the calculations, and you divide by 24, you get the number of days, and I think you divide by 365, you get the number of years. So humanity in general has watched 1.5 years worth of content for this little itty bitty 1500 sub YouTube channel. And that's why I'm making about 150 200 a month, and that's actually kind of a lot in ad revenue. Now maybe there's going to be a point where I'm going to make 1,000, 2,000, or $6,000 in ad revenue, which would be insane, right? And because I'm a lazy guy, and if I could just speak on a microphone and people listen and give me money, why not, right? And here's the last accomplishment that I think is notable. If I type in Korean ATL in Google or YouTube, it actually returns the phrase Korean Atlanta Mentorship as a top search result. So let me go ahead and show this here. So give me 1 second, right? So let's just do this. So I'm in incognito mode in Google, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Korean ATL, right? And look at this. Mentorship is number 4, right? Mentorship is number 4. This channel is above the consulate. Now what's funny is that the cult, there's like this death cult that made the news in Atlanta, which is above the consulate. But what I'm saying is that this is hot news. This is hot stuff in 2023, 2024. And I didn't ever expect that if I ever typed in Korean ATL, that I would essentially be one of it's the 4th search result, so it's like the top thing. And it's above the Korean Atlanta consulate. Mind blown, right? Mind blown. Okay, so now if we go here and we go to incognito mode, then I just do Korean ATL, and look at this. It's actually number 1. I actually searched this yesterday. It was like number 4, and now Korean Atlanta Mentorship is, if I type in Korean ATL, is like the number 1 result. So I feel like, and some of you have been telling me this too, and you probably predicted this before me, this channel is gonna get big. I even got text messages about that. I just don't know when, right? Like I just can't predict it. So that's why it's important that you fall in love with the process, and the results will come when you fall in love with the process. So some people have said this channel should be 100,000 subs by now. I get it. And I'm not doing SEO, I'm not doing any of that, I'm just talking from the camera. And who knows, maybe I might hire SEO expert. I probably won't, just because I don't care that much, because I only want people to come here if they really want to come here, right? That's just kind of like my philosophy. But what I'm saying is that I type in Korean ATL, this is number 1 in incognito mode. Mind blown, right? Mind blown. So I think that's a great accomplishment of 2023. And let me just kind of go into a few predictions, right? So, few predictions. And so, let me just say this. I'm curious of how many students will enroll in 2024, because I've talked to a lot of people, right? And I used to be a school teacher once upon a time, a long time ago, just for like 6 months, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I don't have a graduate degree, because that means like I'm stuck in this profession, I have debt," right? And one of the things that I realize as a school teacher is that it's very important to have students who want to be there, right? Because let's say you have like a class of like 30 students, and you have 1 or 2 or 3 bad students. Those bad students kind of like ruin all the other good students, and they become bad students, right? And that's why I never chase anybody or never try to convince anybody that they should enroll. I want people who are going to take out a credit card out of their own volition and just enroll, right? Like, I don't want to chase you. Now, here's the thing. I will follow up with you if you have any doubts and reservations. Of course, I will talk with you. But in general, my philosophy with students is the same as I have with tenants. I don't want to have a tenant where I have to chase them down for rent, right? I want a tenant who's going to prepay me 6 months of rent, right? Which I have right now, and that is the best tenant ever, because anybody who does anything out of their own volition and will turns out to be a better client. They really do. Better client, better student. And so, um, Again, if very few people enroll, that's absolutely okay with me. But I've had 300 over 300 people submit the form. I even just respond to them, hey, what's going on? Let's get on a Zoom call. And very few of them even respond to me back. Of the few who have responded to me, that they see, oh, this costs money, and then they just kind of freak out and so they have to think about it. And then only two have joined online, right? But what I noticed about the two people who joined online is that there was no convincing of me. It was just us having a conversation. This is what it is. Hey, you want it or not? And they just, yeah, I do. In fact, I told one of my students, I said, look, listen, if you enrolling in this program is going to cause you financial issues, I don't want you to enroll. And she was like, I'm going to enroll. I'm like, all right. That's what again, I always want to be transparent, right? But I love that attitude because, that's like, I could just hear the path to success with that attitude versus me trying to have to convince people like, do you want to join this group? I'm desperate for you to join. No, absolutely not. I don't even need your money. All right. So, number two, I think this is my prediction. This channel is like very cheap, but eventually valuable real estate. And I'm going to give you a story of mine um, about when I first came to the city of Atlanta, or when I first came to Georgia. Like there are places in Atlanta and Decatur, um, North Decatur, which is probably the quote hot suburb of Georgia, that is very expensive. But when I first came here, I came here with my California eyes, right? And I saw properties that were like $200,000, 3 bed, 2 bath, or 3 bed, 3 bath, and I was mind blown for again $200,000, and I was just like, what? Why are these properties so cheap? This is near the center of the city, right? This is near where everything is, and why is this so cheap? Because again, I'm coming in with my California eyes, and I begged my parents, please buy a property here. This is going to be the most amazing thing ever, because you're never going to get a $200,000 property in a city, major city, right, near everything, in a nice suburb again. And now those $200,000 properties are like 600, 700, $800,000 properties in Decatur and Atlanta. And it's I don't know. And I'll be honest, I kind of am disappointed. I should have bought a property there, but unfortunately I didn't. But hey, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have learned velocity banking, right? And I would have just made the monthly payment, not even thought about it. Now, what I mean by this is going to be cheap but very eventually valuable real estate is that right now we're only at 1,500 subs. We have a huge watch time, right? But we're only at 1,500 subs. There's going to be a point where I'm going to make an offer to most people, and it's going to be relatively cheap. It's going to be, let's say, like $2,000. Like, hey, you want to join this group? It's only $2,000, right? Most people will reject it at this stage of the YouTube journey, right? Because they're just going to flinch, and it's kind of like cheap but valuable real estate. So when I look at that $200,000 property, my parents refuse it. I'm like confused to why, right? Because I could just see the potential in that property that this is going to be a huge area that's going to explode, and I think that's what's going to happen with this channel, right? So there's going to be some sort of a growth explosion, but I can't predict it. Just like you can never really predict, like in 2020, nobody thought that real estate was going to explode. Everyone's like expecting a crash similar to '08 and '09 in 2020, and nobody expected it, right? And so I think this channel is going to kind of experience the same thing, but I just don't know when. It may not even happen in 2024. It may happen in 2025 or 2026. I don't know. But when that growth and explosion happens, there's probably going to be a point where I'm going to say that in order for you to join, it's kind of like high ticket coaching. You have to pay 20 grand. And people, and what's funny is at that point, and this is just my prediction, I might be wrong about this. Um, when this channel was small and people are refusing to pay the 2 grand to enter, people will happily pay the 20 grand when the channel is big enough. And I would say that part would probably come at maybe like the at least $100,000 sub mark. Probably, but I don't know yet because again, I hear stories about high ticket coaching, and just from my experience with like real estate in general, people will just say, "Hey, why is that property so cheap in a nice area?" And then they just sit on it and never buy it because they think it's going to be cheap forever for some reason. And that's just not how the dynamics of supply and demand work, right? Other people are going to notice. Foreigners are going to notice. Hollywood is going to notice, right? Because Hollywood's in Georgia. They film everything in Georgia. And thus the price will go up. It'll go up and up and up. And so that's just what I predict. I don't know if it'll happen, but it's just what I'm thinking where the trajectory of the channel is headed. Now, let me just go ahead and do this here. So give me 1 second, and let me go into the channel dashboard. So this is the YouTube channel dashboard. Again, 15, 17 subs. We're at the new year already. Look at how many people have watched in the last 28 days and how much money has been made. Extra $168. And believe it or not, if somebody has a rental property and cash flows $100, $200, they're quite excited because a lot of rental properties, you don't even cash flow. But yeah, I mean, so this is it. We're going to 2024 now. I'm just as curious as you are as what's going to happen with this channel. And I think we are going to make it big because people have been telling me that. You probably believed in this channel more than I did. I was just like, I'm just going to post some videos about velocity banking and just kind of make this an example model of marketing for my students in real life, right? I'm gonna, and then it just happened to catch on and catch traction, and people love it. Okay, all right. So it's just my State of the Union, my equivalent of the State of the Union address for YouTube. So what do you think it's gonna happen in 2024? Any thoughts? And also, if you're interested in joining a group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. All right, have a great day, everybody. And I'm just gonna keep out cranking more videos at least for the new year today. Might not do it for the rest of the week just because I'm a little bit busy, but yeah, just gotta keep grinding. All right, have a great day, everybody.